Hi, I'm Phil Davison here for the 1959 Guitar Company, and I'm demonstrating for you today our 59 special mahogany-bodied resonator guitar. As you can see, it is a mahogany-bodied guitar. It's solid wood, slotted headstock, neck that's a little bit more slender than some of the other guitars we have. You can see the exact dimensions on the website. It's a single cone biscuit bridge style resonator. Airfoils, there's some nice detailing on the back. You can see a close-up of that on the website as well. It's a two-part back. The overall impression that you have when you pick it up is that it's very new. And I think this guitar is one of those guitars that is going to appreciate lots of use, and as you've used it, it's almost a little bit flat, the mahogany finish here. It's just too perfect. And a bit of blood, sweat and tears would not go astray on this guitar. So I think it's one that will increase its appearance and street cred over time. In terms of sound, the wooden body has a distinct sound. It sounds more wooden. Obviously the metal-bodied one sounds more metal. This one sounds more wooden, and that takes it to almost being a little bit more like an acoustic guitar. If you want like a halfway house between an ordinary acoustic guitar and a resonator guitar, this would be the one. It's a little bit more quiet than the metal-bodied ones. More suited to perhaps bluegrass, more suited to a more introspective way of playing, but that doesn't mean that it can't be raucous. But the metal-bodied ones are another step in that direction. They are more raucous. This is a bit more gentle. Let's do the resonance test. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pluck the high E string and then mute it straight away, leaving the other strings to resonate. And that was the sound of it resonating. It's still going there a little bit. Not as long as the metal-bodied guitars, but a higher tone. Let's try the low E. Again, not as long, but it's still there. So that resonance is what makes a resonator guitar, what gives it its particular sound, what makes them special. It's not so pronounced in this guitar, which is why it sounds a bit more like an ordinary guitar. Do some slide just to get some sense of the resonance there. Quite nice. More gentle. It makes me want to play more gently. It's almost wanting me to play a bit more introspectively than I feel I want to play with the metal-bodied guitars. We must also bear in mind this guitar is actually a significantly, it's a couple $100 cheaper than the metal ones. So it's a good dipping your toe into the water without spending as much as the metal-bodied ones, without going so far from the acoustic guitar sound. I think you'll hear it sounds a bit more even acoustic when I go to standard tuning. But nonetheless, it is a resonator guitar. It does have that resonator sound. Let's go to standard tuning. Okay, here we are back in standard tuning. I don't usually play with finger picks very much, and the meaty parts of your fingers are not the best thing to bring out the qualities in a resonating guitar, but almost a 30s kind of sound to it. Works quite nicely in that, bringing out that 30s kind of quality, which is part of a resonator guitar. Let's try it with some flat-picked single notes. So, as I said, flat-picked single notes. Not as pronounced as the metal-bodied guitars. Rather, not as satisfying, I should say. If you want that kind of Lonnie Johnson sound, the metal-bodied guitars are what you really need. That Jimmy Reed Boogie is a good example of, to give you an idea of what the bottom end sounds like. This guitar seems to thrive on, if you want a 30s guitar sort of sound, if you're playing in a jazz band and you want to get a bit of a sort of thing going, this is going to be loud enough to cut through with less amplification. Or if you're using a microphone, it's loud enough to get more volume out of the mic before it feeds back. So the loudness is an asset to this compared to an ordinary acoustic guitar. Of course, the metal-bodied ones are louder. It makes me feel, when playing it, because it's smaller, it's a lot more comfortable to hold. The metal-bodied ones, they're heavy. They start digging into your legs after a while. I'd be quite happy playing this one this way, but I don't like playing the metal-bodied ones this way, because the metal-bodied ones, there's so much weight down here, it feels like the guitar wants to do that. I might be able to get used to it, but I find that's a much more pleasant way to hold the metal-bodied ones. With this one, I don't think it matters that much. It's so light. Because it's light, it makes me feel like I want to be more gentle, perhaps. Maybe because the other metal ones are so hard and they seem so rugged, just from the feel of them, you want to thrash them more. And this one makes me want to be more gentle because it's wooden. It's as fragile as any wooden guitar. Whereas the metal-bodied ones, you know, they definitely feel substantial. So as I say, more introverted, more introspective, more like an acoustic guitar because of the wooden body, a bit more like an acoustic guitar, I should say. I find if I go and pick up my regular acoustic after playing the metal-bodied resonators, that it just sounds awful and lifeless, and I just don't like it. But I could go from one of those to this one and be happy. And I think that if I was playing this one and I went back to my ordinary acoustic guitar, again, it just wouldn't seem as lively and as vivacious as this one is. So that's our 59 special. It's a little honey, you know. She's nice and small compared to the big beasts, her big brother beasts, and small and light. That says a lot for me. The neck's a little bit thinner, so if you've got smaller hands, it's probably easier to get around. But nonetheless, she still is a resonator, and she still has that overtone thing going on. And if I wasn't able to go and play one of the metal-bodied ones, but side by side, I would love this guitar. But I'm actually in love with the metal-bodied ones a bit more. They do more what I want them to do. And you might want more of what this guitar wants. And because of the wooden body construction, she's significantly cheaper.